This is a video about TPS seeds, or true potato seeds. In case people don't know, potatoes will oftentimes produce a few pieces of fruit that look like cherry tomatoes, and they'll even turn red or other colors depending on the color of the potato. And when the fruit is ready, it'll drop off the plant. It'll still be green typically, maybe a little bit of shade of color in it, but you'll keep those in. Unlike a tomato, if you keep it to tell that it's the same, it's a potato fruit and not a tomato, because they're in the same family. If they were a tomato, they would rot or shrivel up fairly quickly, but the true potato seed and fruit, or true potato fruit that has the seeds, they may ripen. They'll get a little bit harder than a tomato would. Like a tomato will soften up and rot. Well, they just get a little bit harder, and when you break them open, eventually, they're kind of like a grape. They kind of squirt. So, and they're hollow in the chamber, except for the liquid that's in there. It's like a hollow chamber, and then up by the stem are the seeds. Now I've already pulled out some of these seeds and separated them from the pulp. And of the ones that I pulled out, this is the leftover pulp and peeling. I think I've opened up about, and there's still some seeds on that one there. See the little white things that look kind of white right there? There's some seeds that I missed. They're really tiny. Some of them are really tiny, like that one there. Give you an example. This is a skewer like you'd use for shish kebab. It's about a little over 1/8 of an inch thick. See how tiny that seed is? Then you got some that are a little bigger. And you notice that some of that pulp is red. That's from one of the ones that ripened. But the seeds don't seem to change color. They seem to stay greenish because of the pulp. And the pulp eventually will dry off these seeds. And you can plant them anytime. You don't have to put them in the fridge and let them go through weeks of the simulated winter. This is one I have not broken open yet. As you can see, where it looks like a little tomato, it looks like a little red tomato. But like I said, it's more firm. It almost feels like it's like a little rubber ball almost, but not quite as hard. And if you let it go, it'll get completely red. This is from a red potato. I've heard that purple potatoes or blue potatoes, they'll give you a blue fruit or purple fruit, and so on. But I'll separate these other seeds here. And let you see kind of what it looks like when you separate them. Like I said, here's one. If you make it out. See them seeds right there? But the only way to get them off there, you get them on your fingers and they're really hard to get off. That's why I'm using this. It's basically a big chunk of pulp. It's got the seeds in it. I'll just take them off of there. It looks like, there you go. They kind of smell a little bit like a tomato, but not near as strong. And they've almost got like a sweet smell to them that reminds me of something like some kind of a fruit that I've smelled before. I just can't recall. Maybe like a star fruit or something like that. It's very faint, but you can smell it. It makes you think you can eat it, but you don't want to eat it because those are poison. It's like I said, they're related to tomatoes, and tomatoes are nightshade families or potatoes. You don't want to go eating tomato vines or leaves, or potato vines or leaves either. Although the potatoes safe and the tomato is safe, you don't want to eat any of the rest of it. I've heard tomatoes are edible, the vines and or the leaves are, but I don't want to try that. So I don't know if that's true or not. But here I'm going to get this camera set somewhere where you can see what. Hold on a second. I'm going to grab the tripod. Need a little tripod. A little bit better view now. Don't know if that'll focus. Doesn't seem to want to. But you can see the seeds. This is my finger right next to the seed. A lot smaller than a tomato seed, even of a cherry tomato. But this is what I was doing to open them. Basically puncture. If you just squeeze them, they'll squirt all over the place. Take away the stem. See, they'll stick to the peeling sometime when you're peeling them off. And yeah, they do have kind of a little faint tomato smell, but not really like a tomato. Tomatoes very easily recognized, and this is not quite like it. See how easy it peels? And you still have a little trouble getting the peeling off, but it's not like a tomato. Maybe part of it due to the fact that it's drying out, but it would have already been dried up or rotted by now if it's a tomato. These have been sitting on the window since probably around November, something like that. And you're not going to see that with a tomato. They'd be gone a long time. You can see the seeds in the pulp. Very tiny. And you just basically get them to stick to the paper plate. And once they stick, you just let them dry. And when they're dry, you break them loose from the paper plate. They stick all over your fingers too, as you notice. Sometimes you have to do 2 or 3 tries to get them to get off of your fingers. Some of this is just pulp, but the seeds are so small that it's hard to tell whether you got seeds or just pulp. So it's good to deal with one piece at a time. See all that? There's lots of seeds in there. There's seeds in this, peeling still. They will stick a little better when you got a lot of pulp to lay down with them. Wow. But the advantage of the potato seed is genetic diversity, because they're, if you just plant a seed potato, which is a small potato that's started to sprout, you'll get a genetic clone of the original tomato plant. And if you plant these, you're going to get something that is a little different than the tomato plant, or potato plant, I'm meant to say. And not only that, what you get will be a little bit more adapted to your particular growing area. They're going to be used to the soil, used to the weather, used to the pests, diseases, and things like that with each generation, till eventually they become climatized if you keep collecting the seeds year after year. And so that's just pulp. Eventually you'll have a climatized plant, and you could even come up with a new strain and even name it for yourself, and can be known for that particular strain of potato. But usually you don't see much difference physically, so that doesn't happen often. Okay, now you check your fingers, because sometimes they stick to your fingers and you can't see them till you take a real good look. I'm going to take the piece that's got all the pulp in it and start sticking it to the plate. More peeling. Look it over good, because you can miss them easily. Sometimes all you got left is peeling and pulp. You notice there's not near as many seeds as a tomato has in it either. Although some of these can have 30-40 seeds in them, tomato can have 150 in them, even them little ones. Okay. Another little splatter of them. Can get them to come off my finger. There they go. These ones could be very ripe or starting to go bad, because they're almost black. But the ones you see, like this here, that's the kind I had last year, and what I grew most of these plants from. Actually the plant that came up that these ones were from was a potato we missed in the ground last year from a seed potato. So it's basically the same thing I planted the year before. But I do have seeds that I planted from seed potatoes, and I planted them last year too, so whatever that's on them that might be a seed from one of these fruits could fall into the ground and produce another potato plant that is genetically different than what was growing there this year. I keep saying this year, but it's just past growing season. Okay. But you see, every one of the little spots is potentially a seed. Like I said, I had about 6 or 7 fruits. And they do. Let me see if I can find my original seeds. Okay, I'm going to try to get some of this to grow. I've never been lucky with it so far. This is how I do all my seeds. Take old medicine pill bottles or whatever, even old spice bottles or herb bottles, and I take the seeds I collected. The one with a red cap, old McCormick bottle, used to have basil leaves full of dill seeds. And yeah, the dill seeds you buy in the store for herbs, you can put them in the ground, they will grow. And so will celery seed and any dried bean. You buy a bag of 15 bean soup, take it home, plant the beans, and you'll have beans. I'm just trying to find the true potato seeds I had from last year's 2015, and I'll show you what they look like when they're dried. I got a lot of seeds here, so bag after bag. Okay, I even keep my tomato seeds. I got Cherokee paste, black cherry, large red cherry tomato, medium red tomatoes, Rutgers, mortgage lifter. Let's see. These are some okra, sunflower seeds. I got every color of bell pepper seeds. Red, green, yellow, orange, purple, and chocolate. Eggplant seeds. They're smaller than tomato seeds too. I don't know if you can tell that. But they're bigger than those TPS seeds. This is actually some small black oil sunflower seeds. More okra seeds. You get a lot of those. This is actually off of some kind of flower in the backyard. I don't know. Or front yard maybe. Got like miniature bulbs. I always even take my seeds like this and I put them in containers like this. Keeps them dry. Another bell pepper seed. Another bell peppers. We got the yellow, orange. More sunflower seeds. More pepper seeds. More pepper seeds. Some of these pepper seeds are from the store. I planted these last year, 2016 season, so they grew up, but they can't get a harvest on them at least till one more year. That's some poblano pepper seeds. That's another bell pepper. Still not seeing the TPS true potato seeds. Oh, I got them. Cucumbers, squash. Well, I must have hit it pretty good. That's probably in this bag. This one's full of root plants. I got root plants, herb plants, and so on. Separated by type, like leafy plants. They're all in one bag. Those are actually some onion seeds. Radish. Parsnip. Fennel. Haven't gotten those yet either to grow very well. Onions. More radish. Another kind of onion. Been wanting to get some Egyptian walking onions. I've been able to get a hold of any. I don't know if you can see in that bottle. But those are the seeds once they're dry. Put them in the lid so you can see them. Maybe in my hand. This is all those seeds. There's probably about 100 seeds right there. You see how tiny some of them are. True potato seeds. From your generic red potatoes that you get in the store. Planted 2015. Planted seed potatoes. Basically just bought a bag of them that were sprouting in the drawer. Took them out and put them in the ground. You want to break up the ground pretty good so they have loose soil. And last year, or 2015, they produced those fruits. I saved them, let them dry, let them set and dry out a little bit. Broke them open just like this, let them dry out, collected them, and planted them in some seed cups in January, February in the house. And when they got big enough and got warm enough, I took them outside and transplanted them. But that is it. Now you can see all these little bottles are full of seeds. Yep, there's probably about 100 different kinds of seeds there. These are ones that me or Dad collected either from fruit that we ate here in the house or from wild plants found in different places, or even from harvested fruit from the garden. There's some cucumber seeds from fruit from the garden. But that's about it. You see how tiny that stuff looks. It's amazing how tiny those seeds are. And that's the peelings left over. Like I said, it smells kind of a sweet smell, the fruit does. But you definitely do not want to eat it. That's it. True potato seeds. That's how you get them out of the fruit. That's how you harvest them. And you know how you grow them. Basically, I just took a bunch of the seeds last winter, sprinkled on some soil, some little disposable plastic cups you get in the store for picnics, filled with some soil, covered them over, and they sprouted. They don't sprout really quick, and the way I do all my seeds is I put them all in cups like that, start out, and I keep them in trays, keep water in the tray, and they're laying on top of a plastic trash bag. I've got 100-watt fluorescent bulbs above them, about a dozen of those bulbs, so that when they sprout they got some light. With a timer, turn them on 12 hours, off for 12 hours. And when it's fairly cool, I also put a heat blanket underneath them and leave it on low. That warms the soil up. They sprout better and faster and grow quicker. You'll have some of the like radish seeds will sprout in 2 or 3 days doing that, when they're supposed to take about a week. So you could double or triple time it takes to germinate. Anyhow, that's about it. Hope you like it. Bye.